Well, hey there and welcome back. So glad I'm speaking with you again. You know, it shows me obviously that you're enjoying the segments that you've been receiving so far, and I'm sure you feel like you're learning a lot, a lot of valuable information, because you know what? You are. And today's topic for discussion is focused on a subject you definitely need to be aware of when you are starting out in this acting business, okay? In this segment, I'm going to tell you about how to avoid getting taken advantage of financially. In other words, how to make sure you don't get ripped off. You see, you need to be well aware of the fact that the entertainment business is a breeding ground for the people who are morally questionable, and they don't mind taking advantage of an aspiring actor who is excited about starting a career as an actor. Anyone starting out in this business is at risk of being taken advantage of financially. If they don't know what to look out for and how to make sure that they are investing their time and money with the right establishments that are reputable and charge only fair market prices for services such as acting classes and headshots, there is no doubt that an aspiring actor will have to put out money in the beginning of their career to hone new skills and compete effectively with the many other actors that are out there. However, for every reputable establishment, there is probably at least 2 establishments that have no interest in your career as an actor, but lots of interest in your wallet. So let me tell you a little story about just how far some shady operators will go to rip off newcomers, all right? There used to be an agency in Toronto, Canada, and I use the term agency loosely because they never were a legitimate agency, but they had a lot of people go through their doors. Anyhow, the good news is that they have been shut down now, but not before thousands of people lost thousands of dollars. They had many different scam operations, but the lengths that they went to in order to rip people off was almost unheard of. And believe me, I have met many people who have been taken advantage of, so I have heard quite a few stories. But anyways, this particular agency dealt with actors and models. And one of their scams that they did was that they would advertise for girls to model internationally. They would bring in young girls with their parents and would begin the scam by qualifying the family's financial capability. In other words, they didn't care if the girl had any modeling potential, but rather they wanted to know if their parents had any money. And they have unique ways of qualifying their financial capability. Okay, then they would tell maybe 10 girls, some with money and some without, that they had some big executives from Japan that were interested in giving them a modeling contract, and they were coming into the city to meet them. Now, in the meantime, they would tell some Japanese actors that were also a part of their agency that they had an audition for them, and the scene would be that they were Japanese executives looking to sign new models to international contracts. I am sure that you can, see where this is leading. Anyhow, now, after qualifying the girls whose family had money, the script they gave to the Japanese actors was to pick only the girls with the money. Now, obviously, the girls, were ecstatic. They were chosen to work as international models. Unfortunately, none of it was true. What the agency did next, now that they have they have the girls and the families all excited, was drop the bomb that even though they were chosen, they now need to lay out down thousands and thousands of dollars for photos, a portfolio, because without that the executives from Japan couldn't work with them. So the girls' families justified spending all this money because they were giving their daughters a wonderful career, and through all their modeling jobs that they would be making lots and lots of money. Well, the sad news is that many families put out a lot of money, and as you probably saw coming, the international modeling contract never came through. Now, this was quite an elaborate scam, and I should mention, that it's the fine print on some of these things. I'm sure how the agency got out of it. At the time, now I told you that they're out of business, but at the time, they got out of a lot of things because they would say they can offer things but they can't make them always happen, so that's how they would get out of these things. Well, it was their decision to the Japanese they changed their mind, whatever, but and this is an elaborate scam that I'm telling you about, but have no doubt that many people have been scammed out of their money with with far less elaborate schemes. So the moral of this story is for you to fully understand that companies like this one that I just described, they do exist, and they make their money by taking advantage of people like yourself who are excited and new to the business. Now, this particular example was in the modeling industry, but I can assure you that the acting world uses almost identical similar types of scams and tactics. Okay? Now, even though this particular example, they were targeting somebody with, looking for somebody with lots of money, so that they could take a lot of money. Be sure that you understand that it doesn't matter how much money you have, they'll take whatever they can get. So just keep that in mind, that it's not always just about an elaborate scheme to take a lot of money. They could, try to take you for $50, $100, $2,000, whatever, okay? So just keep that in mind. The good news is that you're listening to me right now, and that means the chances of this type of thing happening to you is reduced significantly. But like I said, there are many, many, many ways that these types of establishments take advantage of newcomers, and it's not always obvious, okay? Even if you are somewhat aware, it might not be as obvious as you might like. So for new aspiring actors, you have to be aware of paying exorbitant prices for substandard services, such as headshots that are not done by a qualified photographer, or acting classes by teachers who are not recognized or reputable. There are lots of ways to protect yourself, and it all comes down to being informed. I encourage you to research as much as you possibly can before putting out money, for acting classes and for headshots. You can go to my website, TheTruthAboutActing.com, where I go into detail about protecting yourself from being ripped off. So thanks again, guys, for joining me, and I hope you will join me again on the next segment, and because this one is going to deal with protecting your personal safety. And there are scam artists, out there after your money, as we have just been discussing, but there are also creeps out there who you need to be aware of that also use naivety to exploit, but it's your personal safety that I will be talking to you about in this segment, in the next segment that I send to you, okay? So I look forward to speaking with you again soon, and all of you take care.